What is going on, everybody? We're back with another episode of Commercial Roofing Radio. We got my buddy in the house. We got Tim Brown with Hook Agency out in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tim, what's up, my dude?
Not much, man. I really appreciate you having me on, and I'm excited to talk with you about whatever.
So, I mean, I'm a little nervous here. I think during that meme stretch, you became kind of a roofing star, if you will. So obviously, you know, for those who didn't see them, Tim really blew up, I feel like, in the space, getting a lot of attention to the brand, utilizing memes and getting the attention of roofing contractors. You know, what kind of came about it? Like, how did that come about, I guess? And then what did you learn in that process about marketing?
Oh, man, I've learned a lot, man. I love getting, because this is a craft of marketing, is like learning how to get attention and maybe how to get like unfair amounts of attention for how big you are. You know, that's like the ideal scenario for marketing. So I feel like I learned a lot. And honestly, meme craft is honestly, I'm going to go with meme craft. I've never tried to label it that before. Meme craft is each time you put out a meme is kind of a little study in marketing in general, because it's knowing your audience, it's knowing their pain point, and then doing something to elicit an emotional response, in this case laughter, and maybe, you know, and coming off in a positive impression. You know, you want them to feel a positive impression towards you. So I feel like every time I put out a meme, it's a little bit of a study in marketing, and you just have to do a lot of it, even though some of them suck. You just have to keep going.
But so, I mean, how much attention did the memes get in comparison to maybe a video you do about tips on SEO?
Yeah, I would say the amount of effort required to get a positive attention result on memes has been higher. Like I've gotten, the amount of result for the amount of effort it's been a better ratio. You know what I mean? Video requires a lot. You know, you have to have a topic, you have to try to have a hook, you have to and then you're spending a lot of time on it. I spend time on memes, but I believe people could get a lot more result out of just if you learn it. It's just it's kind of like its own little craft that's not particularly, let's just call it a meme craft for shorthand, that requires some learn how to do it. But then once you learn how to do it, you get kind of extra. I think what it is no one has time to invest in a video. Realistically, I think some people that are on my videos, sometimes I'm like, dude, don't spend time on this. Go build your business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But meme is 2 minutes tops for you to think about it and comment.
It's quick.
Very little.
It's quick. And you're able to be consistent with it. And I think consistency is why you got that traction that you did, because it seemed like every day or maybe even twice a day you were coming out with this memes. And for me, it just makes me think, you know, if I'm a roofing contractor, you know, the educational videos, everything like that, they have a space and whatnot, right? But in terms of gaining awareness and kind of getting eyeballs on your brand, sometimes it doesn't have to be about your service, right? It can be more related to your customer, and then trying to pull out that emotion, like you were saying before, right? Yeah. And also now that they kind of become fans of yours, where they enjoy your posts, right? I think that's kind of the goal, to be like, hey, someone's actually excited to see my post, rather than, oh, here's another pitch, you know, marketing pitch or whatever it might be. Yeah, and
I think the bullet points for somebody who's only going to watch this for a little bit and trail off. I want to throw out here one. You can use this in sales follow-up too. That's the spot where it might actually create revenue for you soon. If you create memes that are kind of funny about getting ghosted or something, you could potentially open back up a conversation.
That could be good, yeah.
That was dead. So you could, and I'm sure that there's memes posts out there about sales follow-up, so you could find ones that already exist. You don't have to make them yourself. The thing takes a while for me. I might spend a half an hour on it 2 or 3 times a week because it's fun, and I do it while I'm watching TV or something. But you could just find memes that already exist and use them in your sales process. if you're doing it for a homeowner or in your guys' case, a property manager, like I think a really important point is like, you have to become obsessed with the property manager. Like I see roofers sharing my memes. That's not always the intention. The intention for me is to grab like roofers' attention. For you, it should be to grab your ideal customer's attention. So I just think like getting really obsessed with property managers and the different targets for your roofing company, if you're going after commercial roofs, is like, that's really important. Like if you can get really into their pain points and make memes about their pain points, like you can utilize those in either, marketing or sales. And
that is interesting. Yeah. I mean, let's go into that. So like, I think, me and you, obviously we both create content to try to engage with roofing contractors. That's our niche. So let's say that if a roofing contractor is trying to get in touch with, build awareness with a property manager, what sources would you do? I mean, I think anybody can do a podcast, right? I mean, there's so many benefits of it. I mean, if I just wanted to interview a ton of people to bring value to people who own properties, right, and how to build them into businesses or something like that, right? But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn. I mean, anywhere where you can really see who they are is a first good step, right? Like, it's kind of figuring what titles. So for you guys, I'm sure you go after property managers, business owners, asset managers,
facility managers,
like yeah. So once you figure out the titles, that's like the first step, right? To figure out who these people are. And then it's become obsessed with them and their problems, and then figure out where they hang out. So you probably know a little bit more about that than I do, but I think we should like almost just leave it as like a cliffhanger there, is like, where are these people hanging out in your area, in physical places too? Because I go to Facebook, but you see I'm also very much out there at events. So I know that 95% of the roofers are not in these Facebook roofing groups. Like a lot of the people we know and think about a lot because we're on social media more than your average person.
True.
But where else are they in the physical world? So I'm going digital property. For me, it's Facebook. For you, it could be LinkedIn, because you're really, targeting the people that Nick just said. And then additionally, where are they physically? And if you compare the physical one too, like if there's like meetups or trade shows or whatever they happen, if you can go there, or places in your area that attract these people, getting in the physical space and then getting in their digital space and doing something good in their space, whether it's memes or something else, doing something attractive.
I think it's becoming part of that community that you find, right? So you find where they are, and then you become a member of the community. So rather than someone who's just trying to sell them something, you actually become a valuable member to their community. And I think when you do that at a brand standpoint, it just gives you so much credibility and so much more leverage. It's just such a better standpoint to be on, I feel like.
I'm absolutely, I'm curious. I want to pose this as a question to you. Like, there's roofing companies that are doing this right now that are your clients in a broader way, like in more ways than just what Peak Leads is doing, right? The branding, and they're out there and they're in the community. And I bet you your guys' efforts go way further for those companies.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it is tough, but either way though, I don't see it a lot, I would say, in the commercial space where people are trying to build a brand through content. Yeah. Through content, at least, like I'll see good brands in terms of playing the part, I would say, but I think when it comes to maximizing content, I really haven't seen it. But I'm sure there is, but I just really haven't seen it.
But even let's say so commercial lead generation on LinkedIn, if somebody's doing cold outreach there or something like that, like if they're doing that and they're also posting something useful to that audience. So if their cold outreach is paired with, we look active on this platform, or we look healthy, because that's what it is. Like people go from, I always look on websites and I see if they click over to the Facebook, like I do that in our like audit, just to look like for people that are looking for just like an outside opinion on their website. I click over to the Facebook, and if they haven't posted in like a month and they're not posting regularly, it just looks like ghost town.
It does.
And I think the same thing goes for like if you're doing cold outreach or any kind of outreach or whatever. It's like sometimes you just need to check the box that you're an active company, that you look healthy, and you're not like, I'm not saying all commercial roofing companies should spend their time just jamming content out on social media. It's just like, it's more about like looking healthy and active in some way, shape, or form. I do think that like wherever you're doing cold outreach, to pair that with some content is not a bad idea. And I'm not even trying to sell necessarily, like our primary audience is not commercial roofers, although we have some that do both. But I just think that like being healthy there, it looks good. It looks good to prospects. It just feels
play the part.
Probably way less important than residential, but yeah.
You have to play the part, and I think when we're looking at, hey, where can I connect with these people? For us, the data is out there. Right? There's CoStar, there's Reonomy, there's all these different databases that you can utilize. Zoom Info, I mean, they're all over the place. So you can identify who you want to work with. Like what we'll do is even setting up happy hours, right? Where you bring in 30 to 50 people that are on your hit list of prospects that you really want to work with, right? Bring them there. Do that. Or, I mean, you got to think when it comes to commercial real estate, there's just got to be endless amount of different organizations, right? And those are your almost like your B&I partners, right? These are the people that are working with your same group of people, your same clients, right? Get to know them and just become part of that community. I think that's one of the biggest things. And I mean, at a content standpoint, I'd be focusing, is there a way I can make collaborative content with these people that's going to benefit all of us?
Yes. And I think the other piece is like I create content with Nick, but you know what would be the absolute ideal scenario is like Nick and I referring back and forth business. But that's exactly. Compare those two things. Like I think content in a vacuum is a waste of time. But content where you're also collaborating with referral partners, it has to have some way to get people to the content. One, once you collaborate with referral partners, you're also getting some of the social media back and forth that you can do with that content. Obviously we also create content for Google, so you know what I mean? But a lot of people are just creating content and they have no idea how people are ever going to see it.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? Like,
well, you're all over the place now, though. I mean, for you, it's all exposure. I mean, I can tell this year you made an effort to increase your exposure, right? So, and you did it with the events, and so you guys did the tour, so that's a big one right there. And then you got to think. I mean, you're sponsoring podcasts and stuff like that, right? Your podcast is what? I think you label it roofing podcast, right? And you're doing that's search, right? That's exposure and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So there's benefits to that.
Oh, by the way, I just got number one on Google. If you Google roofing podcast.
See, look at that. Yeah, see,
but that's a little bit of a hack, to be honest with you. Hey,
see, but
still scrappy.
But then the thing is you're doing the sponsoring and stuff like that. I'm sure that helps with the links, but then also it helps with it's kind of collaborative exposure again, right?
Yeah.
And so
I'll be real for us. I don't think about Google as much as I mean, every once in a while, some of my stuff's for Google, but like once you're B2B, it's a little less Google focused, to be real. Like, and I know that might shoot myself in the foot with some commercial roofers that probably. It wouldn't be bad to be on Google, and I still have effort, but it's not the main thing, and I know that. You know what I mean? I know that the number one way that Hook Agency gets leads now is not that. It's more word of mouth amplified by social. And so those are the things. And events is a really good one. Videos are a very good one, but it's kind of all still trying to amplify word of mouth. I feel like everything we do on social is intended to increase word of mouth with referral partners, with ideal customers, even with competitors. Nick and I are technically kind of competitors. But you know what? If Nick had somebody that needed this exact service, he'd probably suggest it, and vice versa. So, and I do, by the way, actually intro you guys to people.
I thought about you actually because of this. I thought about you because I think you made an article or a blog with like competitors basically and say, hey, these are the best people in the roofing industry for marketing. And then I think you were kind of talking to me about that, right? The advantages of that on SEO. And it was funny. I was looking for a new software, right? And I was like, just looking to replace one of the tools we use for email marketing, right? And then you start to land on these websites, and these websites of these email marketers. I landed on it because I was looking for the best email marketing tools, and then obviously they put themselves on there, but that's why I ended up landing on their website.
Yeah, I've done both ways. I've included us on those lists.
Yeah.
And I've not included us. I feel like I thought it was an alpha move to not include us for some reason. Right. I did that and then I put it out on social too and tagged all those companies. It just looked nice. And I mean, by the way, that blog probably has gotten you a lead before because it ranks. It's pretty high for roofing marketing companies. And I'm not on there anywhere. I'm guessing that's probably gotten you guys a lead. And I believe that you are one of the top 7. So
I appreciate that. Same with these guys. So if you guys are looking for, websites, SEO, pay-per-click, make sure that you are getting connected with my boy, Tim. He'll take great care of you. One thing that I like about Tim too is we were talking and he was thinking about going niche, right? At first he goes niche in the contracting world. Now he's really, really deep in focusing on roofing. So he's doing some really great things, and obviously he's trying to make a difference and impact on it. I think me and Tim are kind of in a similar mission here, where our goal is, hey, I think it's really bringing in, modernizing, bringing in technology into the roofing space. I feel like me and you are kind of in the same mission there, bringing that in.
Yeah, you guys can almost credit Nick for us being very niched into roofing. Like we have 80% roofers. The only thing that's hard about the complete niche is that like some of these roofers are pretty competitive. So in certain areas, they want like exclusivity or whatever. And so we're trying to navigate that. That's the hard part.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you guys will figure it out though, but I can only imagine. So, I mean, one thing I wanted to talk to you about is that, hey, if we were going to make, a marketing strategy kind of on the run, what would that look like? So this is no preparation. We kind of focused on some content stuff. We didn't get real deep with it, but now let's kind of take it to another level here. If we're a roofing contractor, so let's say that we're a roofing contractor in pick a city. I'll let you pick the city.
Oh no! What if I said Denver?
Denver, Colorado. So we're a Denver, Colorado roofing company. All right, we do commercial and residential, right? Yeah. Let's just say it was a blank state, right? And we kind of had to decide how we divvied up everything, what we were doing.
Yeah. The first thing from my point of view would be everything job site, particularly on the residential side, trucks, truck wraps, yard signs. I know the commercial, it's less of a thing. I think if I was thinking about, it's just, I'd say the uniform
brand though, right?
Swag. Yeah, the way you
present yourself. The way you present yourself, basically.
I would spend at least $8,000 on a logo and branding system. 8 to 20. I would probably use Kick Charge Creative, Dan Antonelli, if I had budget. Like if I was already somewhat established. From scratch, this is different. But I'm going to go with somewhat established.
So play the part.
Or do you want me to start from scratch?
No, we'll just kind of roll with it. I mean, I think it says, hey, let's say they're somewhat established, I guess, right? What would you want to look like if you were somewhat established? And I think you hit it on the first part is play the part. And so for me, I want that website dialed, right? I want that thing dialed in. I want it quick. I want it responsive, right? I want all the information that they need, user friendly, everything like that, right? SEO
customer
optimized.
Focus. The big
focused
thing that I would say for a lot of roofing companies are getting it wrong right now is like 9 out of 10 of them are like self-obsessed on the website. And if you read that website to your wife, she would be like, why are you just preaching to me the whole time? It's like I would say one thing to think about. Yes, website for sure. I would spend $20,000 on it because that's how much we are. So
do it up. Honestly, for me, I've always believed that you should spend money in a website, right? You get what you pay for, and that's everything I'm doing. I'm pushing to my website. So even if it's not from SEO Organic or Google, whatever it is, paid ads, everybody's checking on me. They're still checking on me. They're looking at my reviews, and they're looking at my website. They're looking at my social. I guarantee, especially if it's a high ticket purchase. Why wouldn't they? Would you? And then it's like with the copy. You mentioned the copy. That's when that copy's hard because it's like you just push yourself. You beat your chest. But if you were reading it, what would you want to see on that page? What do you actually care about?
Yeah. And what is their pain? I think that you need more pain.
More pain, more emotion. Pull it to emotion.
Put a microscope or whatever. put an eyeglass, or how do you say it? Put a
magnifying glass.
Magnifying glass on their pain, because it's actually empathy. When you zoom in on what they're having trouble with, like I saw somebody call it like roofing asset management or something. Like I love that idea, because if they're an asset manager, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I've heard that too.
Probably by putting it that way, you're saying, I understand you just want this taken care of. It's asset management. We're taking care of it for you, kind of thing. You're putting magnifying glass a little bit on the pain, and you're putting empathy to that pain. If I was in a commercial roofer focus, like I had more of my revenue, I'd look at my revenue. If it's 80% commercial, I think I'd go with peak leads next on this. Like you check the box of website, then you get peak leads to start doing outreach and actually getting leads.
Business development, right? Getting your name out there and getting you to meet with people, and you know, whether it's service or if it's bigger opportunities. In the B2B world, you want to be shaking hands. You know what I mean? B2B,
and I'd pair all this with I was gonna say like a mixture of that and like getting out in the community, like one-to-one conversations, like anything that's networking where you're getting close to those people and talking to them, because it's business. The business development side of it is going to be huge, huge, huge. If I was 80% residential, I think I'd do heavy duty search marketing. So I would probably it would depend on everyone's like, some people are like, yeah, I'm really into commercial, but I want to get more into residential. And some people are like, I'm really into residential, but I want to, I'm sorry, but just be impartial and unromantic. Look at your revenue now and make that decision a little bit more. And then honestly, I would flip it for the other way. Then I would still work on search if I was heavier into commercial. I still think search is relevant. I mean, Google is always going to be relevant, right? But what do you think? What do you think of YouTube? Do you think that YouTube's a good opportunity? I'm going to throw here 11,000 searches a month for commercial roofing alone. And there's other like things like commercial roofing replacement, repair, etc. So just commercial roofing, 11,000 searches in the United States, mind you. So that's pretty big. So it's a pretty big surface area. So it's not that much, but people are Googling this, and we see leads happening for some of our people who have both.
I would for sure. I mean, 100% would. I mean, why would you not want to be playing well with Google, right? Yeah. I mean, if everybody, you think about it, the first place you go when you're searching anything, Google, right? And they're going to be looking you up. And so that make sure you're focusing on SEO. Make sure you have the good reviews. But I want to hear on YouTube, though. Give me some YouTube stuff. How do you feel about YouTube?
Yep. YouTube, it's Google property, and it shows up on Google search results. So I think you want to leverage it for a little bit more branded content. If you're commercial focused, like I would just not make it like a giant, diversion. I mean, if you could, but it's like only the cream of the crop is going to really own that. I mean, it's not bad. I feel like a lot of commercial roofers, and you tell me if I'm wrong, bro, but like a lot of them have a little extra time on their hands, because it's kind of a little bit more of a revenue producer in a lot of ways for these guys. The people that actually nail it, it's harder to get into, but the people that nail it, it's a little higher revenue. So like maybe that's attractive to them about sitting on YouTube and doing the fun stuff. But you have to delineate between like revenue producing results and I'm having fun because I have money. You know what I mean? Like,
but then where's like branding and stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, because how do you know if branding is just, you know, connecting and having fun, or if it's providing value for your business?
Yeah, no, that's a really good. That's honestly, I don't know where that.
Right. That's the tough one.
That's where it's like, okay, for me, I'm B2B, but I do a lot of video, and it ends up being very good for me. I'm just saying, if you dabble, it's not going to make you money.
If you dabble in any marketing strategy, it's not going to make you money, though, right? I mean, that's the thing. Anybody who has an issue with SEO, what was it? They probably dabbled.
They dabbled. People. I just saw somebody roast. SEO. They're like, I was lied to about SEO. I was in the comments of something I was lied to early in my business, and then I like asked them in their DMs. I was like, how much? Like, who is it? I'm not gonna say who it was, but they said it was $100 a month. So I mean, like, no offense, but you're not gonna get a crazy return on investment for $100 a month. There's a lot of basically under a certain amount, $1,000, $2,000 or something like that, you should just kind of like learn it yourself or have somebody learn it on your team. You don't even need courses. All the information is free out there on the internet.
But you got to think about this: if you're spending $100, if you're spending $100 a month, it's just like anything else. You get what you pay for. So if the company's also trying to make money that you hired, how much money are they making on that $100 each month? You know what I mean? So it's like, all of it. So they can't really do much for you. So you get what you pay for. It's just like a roofing contractor. You got to think when you're going to meet with a customer, you're selling based off the value you have to offer. So it's not always apples to apples.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But I think YouTube could be. It's just basically I would get a good strategy and like. You know what I see, Nick? If a lot of these roofing companies could do better than you and I, because we're in an office right now. We're just sitting around in an office looking at a computer. That's not as cool as being out on a commercial roofing job, showing a problem that you've seen over and over again, or seeing a repair, or seeing something that's more visually interesting. So like, don't be like us if you're out there. You know what I mean? I'm saying like, go on adventures. Do demonstrations, show products, do comparisons, do stuff that's like real and substantial that shows what's different about you and competitors. Like I wish our stuff was more visual, like it's not that visual. So it's really hard to show.
Even if you think about if you're working on a huge commercial building and it is a cool project. I mean, think about if you're just, they say document, don't create. Think about that. If you're documenting it and you're showing just like the fine craftsmanship, you got like people cracking jokes, but it's clean. You're showing the environment. You're showing the entire process while adding some personality into it. That's great. You look at me and Tim. They say document, don't create. I'm like, dude. Yesterday, for 4 hours, I was looking at email marketing classes and stuff like that for training stuff. There's not as much. That's why I do podcasts and stuff like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if you have an opportunity where it's really, really cool. You can make some awesome content.
I think it can be fun. And so you're absolutely right. I'm glad that you challenged me on this. If you are doing interesting stuff, do video. Absolutely. And I, you know what? Sometimes I do more interesting stuff so that I can capture it on video. So it's good. It's not a bad thing. I'm simply saying that some people do it half-ass and then like think that they're doing some marketing. Like, all of it all comes down to like, how am I going to get people to watch this? Because, there's a lot of people out there with YouTube channels with 50 videos. I'm not even saying my shit's that baller. I'm saying like, there's a lot of people with 50 and low views and like, how are you utilizing it now to get people? That being said, like I used to create videos for clients. Like I used to be part of that. And some of their videos now have like 40,000 views that I was part of. So like I believed in it and I believe in it. It's just... it can become a diversion, and I see a lot of people doing that. I don't know. I feel like I could go both ways on this. So it's really just how am I going to get people to watch this video? It's not you film it and they will come. You know what I mean? You have to have ways. So you either have to have a good keyword that you're making the video about for search, like gutter guard videos for some reason, and residential do really well. Like I'm sure product oriented videos will do really well for commercial too, but there's a certain amount of like, I don't know, waste if you don't have a dispersion strategy,
Exactly. It's all about strategy and it's all about consistency. So, and the thing is, you don't see this very often in the space, maybe never. So, but that's why I'm like looking at it as it could be a good opportunity. Yeah. And the thing about videos is if I'm making videos for search reasons or marketing reasons, or it might be, I can use them for all different sorts of things. Maybe it's for answering questions. Maybe I send over a link to just that playlist, which is like, these are the top 10 questions that we get on a regular basis, or whatever it might be. Boom, we get to send that over, right? Intro videos, meeting the salesperson, right? I mean, so it depends how
Nick's been reading The Visual Sale.
I have read that.
That's a good book, bro. Like, oh my God, Visual Sale, if you're going to get it. Yes, anything to do with sales videos, absolutely. Like that plus here's anything. I always feel like same with memes. Like that's worth it. Memes plus sales, absolutely. top question in sales, because then it's like, then that's the dispersion strategy. It's I'm going to send this video when prospect has a question about what is your maintenance like agreement look like. Like I'm going to create that video. What does our maintenance agreement look like? And I'm going to send it out. So I know there's going to be a certain amount of people that are going to see that video. It's sad sometimes when people spend a lot of time on videos that don't get views. And it's like, this is a nice video, but I don't think they knew how they're going to get people to watch it.
I think, though, if you are an established contractor and you feel like you have a really good culture and like personality and like it's just a fun group that's very professional, dialed in. Yeah. If you hire, a videographer out of college, something like that full time, something like that would be something that'd be out of the box that you never know. It could.
Now that we're talking about out of the box, like if I had a commercial roofing company, I would do all the things. First of all, I'd literally, I'd act like a residential company. We're a B2B company that acts kind of like a B2C company with the amount of marketing we do. Yeah. It's for fun, right? Like, and I was roasting everyone for doing it for fun. And like, I do make that delineation in my mind sometimes. Sometimes I know what I'm doing is just for fun, which I have an advantage on that front. And you do too, if you're the type of marketer that does that. Do you know Roof Tiger?
I do actually. I've seen them before.
Benjamin, I'm trying to remember his last name, but Ben, he is a person that like, he's treating that roofing company like it was like a consumer packaged good. He's dispersing it everywhere. He's got funny content. He's got the mic with the logo square, and he goes out and does silly stuff. Like he acts like it's entertaining. You know what I mean? It's having fun. If I had a commercial roofing company, I would probably do all the things because it's me and I love that stuff. And one of them, I would probably do podcasts for sure, but I would definitely do area business podcasts. You know what I mean? Like I would do it more about businesses and maybe
I like that. Yeah.
The types of businesses that have buildings that have roofs, like maybe a little bit more like I'd focus a little bit more on those types of companies and property managers in the area. Like I would try to I would do all the things because I have fun with it. And I'm just saying, like, I think you have to order those first 3 or 4 because sometimes in a pinch, stuff gets chopped. And like the podcast would be the first to go probably.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. Well, and there's probably some other things back there that would get chopped too, but I would definitely do all the things for fun.
Lean in to what you could be. If you're going to be doing it, lean into what you're good at. So if you're good at, on video, if you're good, if you think recording episodes, or if you're good at, hey, having extra money to hire a videographer and you want to do something like that to bring in.
If you're good at having money.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
if you're good at having money.
It's all situational, and that's what I like is that there's no right answer. And you can be as creative as you want and find different, unique ways to find very high positive ROIs. And
how would you, if you were to go get your roof replaced, your commercial roof replaced, Nick, what would you do?
I know this is the way I think this is for me, obviously. So it would be on the bottom of my to-do list, right?
Do you own a building, by the way? Just curious.
Not a commercial building, no.
Okay.
But so if I did though, it would be at the bottom of my list, right? Of things I have to get taken care of.
Yeah.
And that's why when we're prospecting, I think that's why we do get wins because someone keeps it at the bottom of their list because it's something, what I mean? And then they're like, screw it, I'm gonna do it. And then once they hit me up,
until a tenant is mad, maybe.
Yeah, right, or something like that too. True.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm looking them up on Google right away, and then I'm seeing what they look like. I'm looking at all their stuff, and then for me,
and then even if somebody reaches out, probably you're still looking up the website just making sure they're not.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking them up 100%. I'm looking up everything online, and then after that, if they have a good experience and it's like reasonable and they're not like tearing my eyes out, I'm using that contractor from here on out because for me now it's a situation where I know if I have that headache again, they're going to take care of me, and I'm willing to pay more for that rather than being like, hey, this problem, but now is wasting all my time and energy.
Yeah.
Right. So you execute after that, and you got my business.
Such a big number. So I'm not the ideal customer here. It's such a big number, probably on a regular basis. Like, how do you disperse that money? Like,
right.
Is there any financing or payment options that commercial roofs have? You're teaching me, Nick. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the details on that stuff. I know they break it up somehow. You know what I mean?
Break it up.
That is a good idea, because on the residential side, you know how they always finance that stuff. So you got to think that there's opportunities there for
the bank,
homeowners.
Maybe the bank helps just like.
Well, that's what I want. So my cousin's a commercial lender, so I was like, dude, you got to come on the podcast, because I feel like
that would be really good.
Is if the roofer understood kind of the commercial property owner and how they view their business or their asset, right, and kind of what options they have. I think that'd be interesting.
The psychology of that person is like so crucial. I feel like if you could do anything to like study that person, anything that we're doing to study, who is that person? What do they care about? Are they balling? I feel like they might be kind of mid-tier 120 or something revenue, like income or something. If you're an asset manager, maybe higher, like you get 200, 300, 400 person, or a business owner, probably around a couple 100,000. So like that person, probably time is so crucial to them. Like they really don't, like you were saying, like they just don't have time. Like it's kind of similar to our ideal customer in that they just don't have time. Like I'm sure Nick and I both think about this a lot. Like just the psychology of our purchase, the person that purchases from our company is like, just don't have time and they just need it done. So like, it's not about like, you could like, it's hard. Like sometimes like with the people I'm around, like some, like employees and stuff like that, obviously not all of them can make hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's hard for them to relate sometimes to like, they're like, well, we could make another meeting for our client. And I'm like, no, they're not valuing another meeting. They're valuing us taking care of it for them. And I think that's the same with this customer. It's like this person is like needing less meetings and wanting more time back in their day, and like anything you can do to slow, versus like the average homeowner might be a little bit more like they might want 3 meetings before they purchase a roof. You know what I mean? Like,
well, we both know Dave, with the Roofers Show.
Yeah, Dave Sullivan.
Yeah, Dave Sullivan. And Dave, he had a company for like 30 years, right? And he grew a big company, and he knew exactly who his ideal customer was, right? It was people who own properties and they view them as investments, right? They're investment properties, and they believe in maintenance and repair, right? So basically, right? And so that's the only people that you worked with.
Owners,
Yeah, the owners, right? They were investment properties. They believed in spending the money on maintenance and repairs, which was a big part of it.
So it was like an investment for them. They felt like this was an investment. They probably had tenants. Is that the case?
Yeah.
So that's like, I think that's like a really like, there's probably some hooks in there. I'm sure you guys have to write these, like, as part of your guys' outreach, that you're testing headlines and like leading.
Honestly, though, like what I do is like when you work with like really like dialed in companies, you almost get like the best advice on approaches to their customers from
what's working
them.
already.
And that's kind of where we get a lot of our stuff, to be honest with you, and then kind of work it from there.
Nice. Yeah. I think that was like always a very interesting, educational experience to like, even like cold calling, or like I did some cold calling, and like what can keep them on the phone for 30 seconds instead of 10.
Wait, so you pretended to be a contractor or what?
No. I was cold calling clients. Like this was like years ago,
okay.
And
Gotcha.
like, I remember just the things that, like, honestly, part of our messaging goes back to that experience. Like it's why marketers do the whole, can you handle 17 more leads? Because there has to be a kind of a promise and like, or a pain, like at the beginning. Like, and it's interesting how these cold kind of methods inform the rest of your marketing, and should, like, ultimately, like, in how sales and what they're talking about should inform marketing. Like, I think I just know now, I used to be just a marketer. Now I've been involved with sales for some time now on my own company, Hook Agency. But like that experience of being in sales has made me such a better marketer. Yeah. I am sure you can relate. Like literally every marketer should be reading sales books. Like and in every like ideal scenario, if we had like our career in front of us and had like 5 years to do whatever, like getting into sales would be the best thing for a marketing craft. The funny thing is people just stay there. Once they go over to sales, they're like,
oh
okay.
yeah,
the
money's in
better.
sales, right? Yeah, exactly.
But why? Why is the money in sales? The money is in sales on average because it's closer to revenue. And any
further down the pipeline.
Yeah, any marketing that gets closer to revenue, the more it gets close to revenue. The brand out here, like those companies, like especially small business brand focused companies, like it's softer. It's like less likely to be more. I feel like it's farther away from money. It's still good, but like I'm just saying marketers should get into sales.
Basically, because marketing gets absolutely no love. It's like the first thing to get cut, and the only thing that it gets is hate for bad leads from sales, because sales is like, hey, you guys suck. I think the sales and marketing relationship is absolutely hilarious.
It is hilarious. Like why? And we get marketers just get shit on for quality and lead stuff. It's like, go make your own then, salesperson. Like, why are you not? Why do you have no self-gen? You know, exactly. Here's the deal. Like, we could talk about that all day because I have a bunch of companies that we've been working with. Like, they have lead babies or whatever, and I love them. I'm proud of that. And there's a bunch of salespeople. Like, it's not maybe enough to like be like on a commercial roofing radio for you guys think it's cool, but like 130, a bunch of people making 130 and above, like,
that's great.
And that's a company, and I've helped be part of that come up. That there's a bunch of salespeople making really solid money. Like, that's awesome. And they literally don't even want any more leads, like for the year, because they burnt out a little bit or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty cool.
But the thing is like the lead flow will never not always be that good, right? Because there's going to be down moments in leads and sales and everything like that. So if you do have lead babies, then they're like, well, now what? And they don't know how to fend for themselves.
So what he's trying to do, like I'm thinking about one particular company, is like he's trying to limit the quantity of leads that you get per year in general. He probably overspent on marketing this past year. Like he probably, and he's saying like 150 for each person. They get one, and obviously like translate that to commercial, it'd be a lot less, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
Like I'm just saying, like there's a limit and there's this number, and you keep it at that, and it's like the rest of the time needs to be spent on self-gen, relationships, etc. Like go out and make some relationships, because if you never have to, you won't. And there's kind of a little bit of there's got to be a threshold. Where is that threshold where you probably shouldn't get much more leads than this? Otherwise, you burn a salesperson. You don't burn them. You burn them. What's the good version of burn them? You spoil. You spoil a salesperson.
You don't want to do that. You do not want to do that. You got to keep them sharp. Keep them sharp, man.
That's why there's too many fights between best salesperson and owner, or like top salespeople and owners. Like, there's too many fights. Like, there's too much squabbling because you spoil them. We spoil them.
You know what?
You know
what I'm going to talk about? We were talking out of the box was, you look at companies like CMR with the boats, right? Like they have that race boat, and they have the race cars, and they brand all the different motorsports and whatnot. Yeah. That's a kind of a unique way, because I can only imagine how much business they get probably from bringing large investors and whatnot to these events. What do you think?
That's a little over my head. It's cool.
It's cool though. It's a cool thing to see. It's cool to see it in our industry though. I think when people are doing cool things like that.
Yeah, and it's like anything where it's like if your competitor can't do it because you've got scale. There's some pretty cool opportunities when you have larger chunks of money like to play with. Like, and if they can't, if like 99% of other roofing contractors can't compete with you for that same attention, because how the heck would they do that? Like, push. That's awesome that he's pushing into that. It's obviously very cool. It's just 99% of them can't do it, so it's hard to speak
exactly.
to that too.
But it just makes me wonder. Think of unique ways where you can do that. So that's a big scaled event, right? Where you're looking at big sponsorship, but how can you get involved in maybe a smaller scale event where it's really cool and you're able to bring them and you're able to showcase some cool ways to show off the brand. Because I mean, you're thinking when you see that boat in the race car, you're thinking sleek, you're thinking like high end, you're thinking luxury, and so that automatically attaches to the brand. I think John Don, I haven't talked to him about it yet, but I saw him with the Teslas, right? And it's got the modern roof sign on it, and I saw someone say, "Oh, hey, how are you gonna fit a ladder in that?" Blah 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 or whatever. It goes really well with his brand, though, if you think about it, with modern roof, right? His thing is we're the modern roofing company. And
how is he gonna?
I think no. So you made a video, I'm pretty sure, of showing how the ladder was going to fit into the Tesla.
Oh yeah, because they have telescoping ladders, and that's modern,
so and that's also modern. Yeah, so it fits into the brand, right? And so it depends what that brand is, and then just lean back into that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's good.
Yeah, it's good, man. Well, hey, it's been pretty fun. So, Tim, we got a game for you, all right? And then we're gonna end it with enlightenment. Oh, actually, you know what? Well, actually, one thing before we do that, because Angie's actually just right next door to us. Their office is right next door to ours. Yeah. So,
very interesting.
It is very interesting. What do you think? Have you seen that Angie roofing stuff that people have been posting all over?
Yeah.
Is that real, or did someone just make it?
They absolutely have a roofing company in certain markets now.
No
they basically
kidding.
Purchased one, and now they're using the brand to sell more, to make it trusted.
Wow.
I would say it could be a misstep by them, because you gotta always look. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a misstep because I'm pretty sure it was very calculated.
Very calculated.
Why? Why? Because roofers are sometimes not.
I'm just wondering if it's a threat, though.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's a threat. You think? Do you think it's a threat to contractors that they should watch out for?
The threat is, own the end customer. Do marketing own your marketing, because ultimately we've built this beast by paying them all of like a percentage on every lead that we create. They are literally using Google and then getting leads on their website and then selling them 3 to 4, 5 times. And we're paying a percentage. So then we're just building them up. And but I'm not even saying something super negative about Angie. I'm just saying you want to own your marketing. You want to own your marketing. You don't want to, you want to create systems that can be duplicated. You know what I mean? And be able to do them.
The way I look at it though too is it makes me think of the danger of a franchise type, big organization with a lot of money coming in and becoming your competition. So my thing is if they do, they can afford whatever they want, right? To try to generate leads. Obviously, you look at their SEO, right? But
yes, I think they're absolutely
So it's like
there's
just be real. They're using all this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So just dial in. Just be dialed in.
Competition is coming from bigger roofing companies, including Angie, including people you and I know and trust, and companies, their roll-ups, there's franchises. It's all coming. It's going to create only the modern roofing companies are going to be able to compete, because if they're not modern, if they're old school, they're going to get chopped. It's not that crazy because it's a lot of those. 80% of roofing companies are probably under 10 people. I don't know the real stat, but it's a lot of small companies. So it's not that crazy because it's not you or I's best customer usually that's going to get chopped. But the thing to note is the people in the middle there are some of them that are going to get hit by these bigger companies that have better relationships with the suppliers and are going to be able to beat you on price and quality because of scale. And so you need to be modernizing so you can at least compete and then play on the emotions really of the homeowner and to try to, or the property manager, excuse me, and the one-to-one relationships. Play small ball to win big. That's really my the way I'd consider this. It's relationship focused and it's community focused at that point for your mid, not huge roofing company, your regional player or what have you that has created relationships, tons of them in the community, and has created, basically relationships and community are the way to combat that, I think.
I completely agree with that. Make sure you get to that level playing field, utilizing all these tools, technology, resources. Basically, being resourceful. If you're very, very resourceful, and even if you don't want to grow the company, you're still growth-minded in terms of development, you're going to be good. But always stay sharp. I hate when people say, hey, I don't want to grow anymore. Stay sharp, though. Stay sharp, right? Because otherwise, you're not sharp. You're not going to take your customers well.
Grow slowly.
Yeah, grow slowly, right?
But you don't have to like, you don't have to like cut off growth entirely. I feel like that's a bad move.
So we got a game for you, Tim, and then after that, I'll let you close it down. All right, so I'll let you end it with enlightenment. So basically, anything that's positive vibes. It could be a suggestion, a life lesson, a quote, book, a book idea. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me, whatever it is.
I've got mine ready. I'm ready.
Boom, let's go. So this one, we just switched games. All right, so this is gonna be a little bit of a newer game that we got here, cool. And this one is just a roofer pop quiz. It's gonna be very similar in terms of the questions to. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? So basically what we're trying to do here is embarrass our guests a little bit with some questions.
Yeah. Sounds good. This is where him being a competitor comes in handy.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm going to be honest. I'm not good at these kind of questions. So I love, asking these questions to our guests because I think it's funny. But if you get 2 of the 3 right, then you get a prize. All right. You get a Peak Leagues prize. All right. So first question is going to be art. Of course, you got the design background, right? I feel like that's very in your world. So, what are the 3 secondary colors?
Oh no!
Oh yes.
Let's say green, orange.
That's 2.
Purple?
Let's go. That's 3, baby. Nice work. Green, orange, and purple. The 3 secondary colors.
Also the best popsicle color flavors.
Those are all actually really... Those are your favorites? I don't know. I like blue, man. I like blue.
I'm a big purple fan.
Purple is pretty good. Purple is pretty good. We meant to send you a purple popsicle or something after this one. All right. Now we're going into science. All right. Okay. A colony... is a group of what animal? All right, I'm going to give you multiple choice on this one. All right, I'm going to repeat it one more time. A colony is a group of what animal?
Sure.
Peacocks, monkeys, bats, or foxes?
Damn, I thought it was going to be ants. Bats.
That's right. Dang, dude. You're pretty good. You're pretty good at this, man, hey?
Seems like it was going to be the most ant-like of the bunch.
Yeah, I like that. Well done. All right, so this one we're going geography. What 4 countries make up the United Kingdom?
Oh no. Scotland, Ireland, England. Oh no.
Come on.
Ah, shit. I know it's not that.
One last one. You got the other ones right.
Is it like a teeny little island or something?
Are you doing a little tip, or what are you thinking?
No. I'll just screw it up and go with Greenland.
It's Wales. So close, man. You rock that, though.
Wales.
Do you do trivia and stuff like that? I feel like you're pretty good at that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but definitely do not.
So we're going to send you a Peak Leads I Love Big Roof shirt. All right, so Danae will be getting with you on sides and the dress and everything that. So we appreciate you having on, man. I want you to close down the show for us, though, okay?
Yeah, I'm on it. So this is who would have known the 4th country? Teddy Roosevelt. He said, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out where the strong man stumbled, or the doer of a deed could have been done better. No, the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred with dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, errs, and comes up short again and again and again. Who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause? Who at best knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never ever be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat.
So I absolutely love that quote, right? I definitely have it saved somewhere on my phone or saved on like an Instagram post or something like that.
Yeah.
But it felt like you were a little bit in, like theater rehearsal or something like that. And I felt like you were off a little bit,
I'm sorry. It's all right. I was reading it, but you know what I thought of when I was doing it? I thought of Dwight in The Office when he's doing the he's like slam.
I love that. It's too good.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but you get the point.
No, I love that. For me, it's all about that.
It's not the critic.
It's kind of like whenever, if I bring somebody on a podcast and I ask them to do like sales role play or something and they do it with me, I'm like, hey, you just made some mad props for me because, any kind of that stuff is never easy. So I love the energy. I love it. Tim, so hey, make sure you guys are getting connected with Tim, right? I mean, he's all over the place, but Tim Brown, you can find him on Facebook, Hook Agency. You can go to the website.
So Facebook, I feel like I'm going to give my, hookagency.com, but I'm going to give my one, like if you went and did something, follow me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/invigorated. Just the word invigorated. And I do memes and stuff on there. And I'll, if some of you commercial roofers start to follow me on there, I'll try to do some more commercial roofing memes. I don't have that down yet, but I'll figure it out eventually.
Make sure you guys are checking him out on Facebook. All right. Yeah. Go check him out. Great dude. Tim, thanks for hanging out, my man.
Thank you so much, man.